Want to take a look at energy prices this morning. Join us right now, Dan Yergin, S&P Global Vice Chairman. Good morning to you. We've been watching WTI crude now down at 63.07. Dan, what do you make of where we are, and what do you think it says about the global economy, maybe before we get into everything else?
Well, I think the number one thing is the global economy. The IMF this week is already signaling that its meeting later in the week expects lower growth. Lower economic growth means lower demand, lower prices. You've also had OPEC Plus put oil into the market. And the main thing that's hanging over the oil market, like over every other part of the economy, is what's going to happen over this 12-week of tariff pause and what comes out at the other end.
So this is probably not the way you'd want oil prices to come down, at least in the U.S., but it sounds like it will be. What do you think directionally? I mean, we're at 63.19. For the investment community that's thinking about where this goes, where do you think things look in the next 6 months?
Well, I think we've got to get through the next 12 weeks. But basically, I think the consensus in the industry had been that it was a price range was in a $70 to $85 range. Now it's looking at 60 to 70. The Dallas Federal Reserve just finished its quarterly survey and showed a lot of uncertainty in the industry. And once you get down under $60, you're starting to put real pressure on U.S. production, because companies have a social contract to return money to investors. You've just mentioned investors. They also have to reinvest to keep up production, and that gets harder as you go below $60 a barrel. So we're kind of on the edge right now, and it is this kind of strange interregnum, this very volatile interregnum that we're in right now.
How does it also change just the thinking around investing in other forms of energy?
Well, I think that the big thing that's on the issue, and really probably the preoccupation of the administration, is electricity. Right. That all the signs are we simply do not have the electricity supply and capacity to meet the AI demand. Currently, data centers are about 4% of U.S. electricity. In 5 years, it could be 12%. So I think if we look at what their National Energy Dominance Council is going to focus on, it's going to be on getting projects approved so that we don't run into really tight situation on electricity over the next few years. So I think that's where the biggest focus is right now.
In terms of the geopolitical situation between the Middle East, in terms of Russia and everything else, how does it change that dynamic in terms of either our strength or not?
Well, what's happening, Andrew, is really the end of the second age of globalization. Before the Russia invaded Ukraine, the U.S. was importing 600,000 barrels a day of oil. Until recently, we were exporting almost 600,000 barrels of petroleum liquids to China, LNG. All that stopped. So we're really seeing a kind of a breakdown in the globalization that we've known for the last 3.5 decades, and that's affecting this industry like every other industry, trying to sort out what will be the new structure of world trade when we get to the other side, whenever we get there.
But in terms of oil flow, you know, obviously India is still buying from Russia. There are others. What does the price of oil need to be to keep their economy going? I mean, those are some big questions.
Well, for India, of course, they like low oil prices because they import 85% of their oil. But I think that what we're seeing other countries, whether they're European, whether they're other Asian countries, are saying, and when they're coming to do their trade negotiations here in Washington, D.C., will be saying, one of the things they'll say is, we can take more energy. That will help change the trade balance. And that's where LNG, you know, the U.S. is the world's largest exporter of LNG right now. That will be very much on the table, and that also goes for liquids. Another issue will be will the Asian countries step forward to put money into this big potential Alaskan LNG project, which the president really, in his address to Congress, singled out. And I know that Japanese, the Koreans are going to be looking at that more carefully as well.
Can I call you the legendary Dan Yergin? The legendary Dan Yergin. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.